We've just concluded the Federal Executive Council meeting, and I have with me my colleagues, Honorable Attorney General of Federation and Minister of Justice, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, and the Honorable Minister of Works and Housing. And we'll start with the Honorable Attorney General, who presented two memos, and two memos on behalf of the NDLA. Two memos were approved by Council. Excellency, sir.
Two memos were presented this afternoon by the Federal Ministry of Justice on behalf and at the instance of National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency. As you rightly know, National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency is an agency of the government saddled with the responsibility of exterminating illicit drugs, trafficking, sales, and consumption. Arising from the fact that they have been doing wonderfully well in terms of dealing with the scourge associated with drugs, the federal government has considered the possibility of making added provisions and employing and deploying technological equipment, skills, and competencies that will assist them in delivery. So this morning, two memos were taken. One, it was a memo seeking the approval of the Council for the award of contract for the supply of eye scanning lie detector. Our technology has improved to the extent that we have in place technological equipment that have the capacity to detect whether you are indeed speaking the truth or indeed you are lying in the course of investigation. So for the purpose of enhancing the capacity of the NDLEA in exterminating illicit drugs trafficking, sales, and consumption, the federal government has considered the need and possibility of indeed providing these equipments to NDLEA. So a memo in that respect was presented, it was taken, and the contract was approved for Messiah's Zettabyte Technologies Limited to procure for the agency these lie detectors equipment. So eventually, on that account, the Federal Executive Council approved the award of contract for the supply of eye scanning lie detector by the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency in favor of Messiah's Zettabyte Technologies Limited in the sum of 498,850,000 naira only, inclusive of 7.5 VAT, with a completion period of 90 days. That was the first memo that was taken. And the second memo is a memo by which the NDLEA, through the Office of the Attorney General, seeks approval of the Council for the award for the supply of digital night vision goggles to the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency. This is equally additional technological device that is intended to support the night operations of NDLEA in view of its capacity to support visibility for the NDLEA. So that contract too was presented for consideration of the Council, and the Council had graciously approved the award of the contract for the supply of digital night vision goggles by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, in favor of Messiah's Ariscent Integrated Solution Limited in the sum of 570,825,000 naira only, inclusive of 7.5% value-added tax with a completion period of 12 weeks. That is it from the Office of the Attorney General at the instance of the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agencies. Thank you very much. Agencies, sir.
Thank you, sir. I will now call on the Honorable Minister.
The Nigeria Export Processing Zones Authority is the parastatal under my ministry, and Council today approved contracts for infrastructure in one of the 6 special economic zones that the Export Processing Zones Authority is creating. It's for the special economic zone in Lekki. As part of that special economic zone, there is a textile and garment park that is being put up, and Council approved contracts for the development of an initial 5 megawatt power plant and electrical reticulation within the park, and in favor of Messrs. Mosra Energy Limited in the sum of 1.5 billion naira, inclusive of 7.5% VAT with a delivery period of 52 weeks. Council also approved the construction of an access road and with associated drainage works from the Lekki-Ekpe Expressway through the garment park to Textile and Garment Park in favor of Messrs. Proportion Construction Works Limited in the sum of 1.9 billion naira, inclusive of 7.5% VAT with a delivery period also of 52 weeks. The objective of developing the special economic zones is to establish an economic zone with multi-functions of industry, commerce, trade, medical, tourism, recreation, and residence to attract foreign investment, create employment, and expedite economic growth. As we're all aware, constant power supply as well as provision of other infrastructure like roads is very important for the functioning of the special economic zones. And it is as a result of that which Council approved the contract that I had previously mentioned. We are hopeful that once this, the special economic zone is functional, it will generate employment for about 3,500 Nigerians in the short term, and in the long term, it will provide employment for about 10,000 Nigerians. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. 3 memoranda presented by the Ministry to the Federal Executive Council. The first one was for the augmentation of the contract of the Zaria to Funtua section of the Zaria Sokoto Benin Kebbi Highway. The augmentation was for 9.446 billion, which will result in an increase of the contract price to a total of 16.924 billion. The augmentation caters for an extension of the scope of works on that section from 26 kilometers to a total of 64 kilometers. It also caters for the improvement of the pavement from a laterite-based pavement to a cement-based, concrete mix, stone-based pavement. It also makes provision for extensive drainage works to accommodate increasing rainflow and flooding patterns that we have observed in the last few years. Council approved that memorandum. The second memorandum was presented by the Ministry on behalf of one of her parastatals, the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, who have statutory responsibility for maintenance and rehabilitation of certain roads. And in this regard, FEMA requested and Council approved contract award to rehabilitate Kwaya Peta Milda Road in Borno in favor of Mrs. CBC Global Civil Engineering and Building Construction. Value of the award is 6,271,985,441 naira and 2 kobo. The third one, which council approved today, was the rehabilitation of the Uturu Isikwato Akara Road in Abia State. 13.624 billion, which was approved by council to 18th Engineering Company for, as I said, 13.624 billion over 24 months. Thank you very much. Council also approved that.
I have to deal with both of you. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you very much.